Welcome to APEC.
여기 2025 차 좀 빼주세요. 2025.
Time to set the facts straight. Get Korea right.
서시. 죽는 날까지 하늘을 우러러 한 점 부끄럼이 없기를. 잎새이는 바람에도 나는 괴로워했다. 별을 노래하는 마음으로 모든 죽어가는 것을 사랑해야지. 그리고 나한테 주어진 길을 걸어가야겠다. 오늘 밤에도 별이 바람에 스치운다. 한국인들이라면 한 번쯤 들어본 시일 텐데요. 바로 서시입니다. 이 시를 쓴 주인공, 바로 윤동주 시인입니다. 안녕하세요. 반크에서 활동하는 권소영 연구원입니다. 서시, 별에는 밤, 자화상 등을 쓴 윤동주 시인은 한국인이 가장 사랑하는 시인 중 한 명으로 꼽히는데요. 가끔 윤동주 시인의 정보에서 오해와 오류가 보이더라고요. 제가 윤동주 시인에 대한 제대로 된 정보를 알려드릴게요. 대일항쟁기였던 1917년에 태어난 윤동주는 평생 한국어로만 시를 쓰며 민족의 아픔을 위로했던 시인이에요. 폭넓게 세상을 접하고 더 많은 것을 배우기 위해 일본 유학을 떠났던 윤동주는 1943년 7월 한국인 유학생들을 대상으로 민족 문화와 독립 정신을 고취시켰다는 혐의로 일본 경찰에 체포됐습니다. 1945년 2월 윤동주는 28세의 나이로 후쿠오카 형무소에서 숨을 거뒀는데요. 암울했던 식민지 시절, 민족에 대한 사랑과 독립에 대한 염원을 시로 쓴 윤동주 시인. 우리가 기억해야 할 아름다운 이름입니다. 한국 바로 알리기. 여러분도 함께 해주세요.
안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Thursday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-ah in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-classical music, K-art, K-everything. And we're going to do all of that with my co-host Bella Kim joining me in the studio. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa, and hello to everyone joining us today on the Culture Wave. I'm Bella, back again to co-host and fill you guys in with the latest in K-entertainment.
Welcome back, Bella. It's the first time that I'm seeing you after the Chuseok holidays.
So happy to be back with the Culture Wave.
So Bella is back, and many girl groups are also back.
Right.
And we're actually going to have a focus on girl group comebacks in our latter part of the program.
Yep.
But first, it's
Bella
time, which means K-Enter time. And we're going to start off with a sensational singer-songwriter who I think by now many people are familiar with. Who are we talking about?
It is Ejae, who played Rumi on Netflix's hit animated film K-pop Demon Hunters. She has officially started her activities here in Korea. She said at a press conference on Wednesday that the soundtrack's success feels unreal and she's deeply grateful for the support. She continued by saying, quote, 2 months ago I was just a composer, but suddenly so many people are showing lots of love and interest, which feels strange and amazing. Ejae contributed to and performed on several K-pop Demon Hunters tracks, including, of course, Golden, How It's Done, Takedown, and Your Idol. She became an overnight sensation when Golden achieved a milestone for K-pop, topping both the US Billboard Hot 100 and the British official singles chart Top 100 for 8 weeks. Both the soundtrack and Golden have been submitted by Netflix for consideration in the Record of the Year and Song of the Year categories, each at the 2026 Grammy Awards. Meanwhile, Ejae will release her solo debut album, In Another World, on October 24th. Also, an interview with Ejae is coming soon here on the Culture Wave, so keep an eye out for that as well.
I'm so excited about Ejae's activities here in Korea, as well as that interview. And Bella, staying with Netflix, but we're going to move on to a K-drama on the platform.
That's correct. The Korean Netflix series Genie Make-A-Wish, or 다 이루어질 지니 in Korean, has reached #1 worldwide in the second week of its release. According to Netflix To-Doom's official Netflix Top 10 on Wednesday, the series recorded 8 million views from October 6th to 12th, ranking first in the global Top 10 series non-English category. It made the Top 10 list in 50 countries and also claimed it #1 spot in 10 countries, including Hong Kong, Thailand, Singapore, and Vietnam. Genie Make-A-Wish has been in the spotlight even before its release, as the two main actors, Kim Woo-bin and Suji, reunite after 9 years.
I mean, I'm in the midst of watching it, and I have to say the chemistry between those two is hilarious. But now let's move on to a Korean film that actually has been invited to an overseas film festival.
That's correct. Run to the West, or 중간계 in Korean, the first Korean AI film, has officially been invited to the 10th London East Asia Film Festival. The London East Asia Film Festival is the longest-running and biggest Asian film festival in the UK. The film will open the AI section of the festival, and it's the film's first time premiering overseas after its release here in Korea. Run to the West, a story about people trapped in the realm between life and death, pursued by grim reapers determined to take their souls, premiered actually yesterday here in Korea and is now in theaters for all domestic audiences to catch.
Well, I'm going to try to catch it at the theaters. But thank you very much, Bella, for those updates, and stick around.
Yes, I'll do.
And now we're going to not go over to an AI film, but our very own AI anchor, Ari, for more on the culture front. Ari?
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism said Thursday that it will hold the 2025 Hanbok Culture Week from October 21st to the 26th together with the Korea Craft and Design Foundation. Hanbok Culture Week is a flagship Hanbok cultural event held every year around Hanbok Day on October 21st. Now in its 8th year, this year's events will take place at more than 360 hubs nationwide. Under the theme Modern Hanbok Scene, A new hanbok culture that combines traditional beauty with modern sensibilities will be showcased through a variety of events, including exhibitions, fashion shows, and hands-on experiences. The 12th edition of Seoul Design Week, an event where visitors can get a comprehensive look at Seoul's design trends, kicked off Wednesday at the iconic Dongdaemun Design Plaza. At the heart of the event, the DDP Design Fair features 70 brands collaborating with South Korea's leading online fashion retailer Musinseop. Along with the theme pavilion at DDP Design Fair, 87 booths offer items for sale, categorized into 4 sections based on their design philosophy or features: the maximalist, the rest devotee, the serene epicure, and the romantic pragmatist. Running through October 26, brands participating in the DDP Design Fair are offering discounts for those who make purchases at the fair. An event official stated that this year's festival will not only showcase Seoul's refined sensibility and the power of K-design to the world, but also lead future design trends such as those involving AI. From the 17th century medical classic Dongbogam to Hangdang's modern novel Human Acts that won her the Nobel Prize in Literature, the National Library of Korea is marking its 80th anniversary with a special exhibition that brings together the books that have defined Korea's cultural and intellectual journey. The exhibition, titled My Dream, Our Record, Bookshelves of Koreans, runs from October 15th to December 14th. Over 200 rare and historical works, including national treasures, first editions, and early prints, are on display. The original manuscript of Hojun's Dongbogam, designated a national treasure, is being publicly displayed for the first time in 16 years, but will only be available for viewing on opening day due to preservation concerns. Afterwards, a high-quality facsimile will be on display. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
In today's Culture Report, we look at a transformation of concert halls and museums that are becoming more interactive. Special lectures are now being held where audiences can listen to music of masters of classical music, accompanied by commentary from experts in the field, or sessions where the museum director explains the artwork before or after viewing the exhibition. Ian Jin has more.
A scene from the film Before Sunrise is projected on a large screen, along with the classical music featured in the movie's ending credits. In a concert hall typically reserved for orchestras and vocalists, a former radio producer takes the stage to explain the life and music of Baroque master Johann Sebastian Bach.
I've worked in classical radio broadcasting for over 30 years. Throughout my career, I've always thought about how to make classical music more accessible and enjoyable to more people.
On a weekday afternoon, the venue's lobby is bustling with middle-aged and older attendees who've given up their lunch breaks to attend this free lecture that they've registered for in advance. The lecture sessions that blend musical insights with references to films and famous personalities associated with classical music are fully booked.
I've been attending the lectures from the first session. I'm really interested in classical music. I've been to concerts before, but this is my first time studying and learning about it through a lecture like this.
3 lectures remain through November, focusing on the music of Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven. Museum director Yoo Hong-jun, well known for his book My Exploration of Cultural Heritage, uses his signature lecture style to break down the value and cultural spirit of early Joseon Dynasty art. These lectures are connected to ongoing exhibitions at the National Museum of Korea, including topics like white porcelain, calligraphy, paintings, and Buddhist sculptures. The layered multimedia presentations, complete with presentation slides and historical background, attracted an eager audience who managed to secure seats despite fierce competition during online reservations. The venue that seats hundreds was packed.
When I heard that director Yoo Hong-jun would be giving a lecture, I waited a long time for this date. It was really hard to get a spot through online registration. After the lecture, I'm planning to see the exhibition New Nation, New Art.
For those who haven't seen the exhibition, the lecture serves as a preview. For those who have, it becomes a review.
Viewing ancient art can be difficult if you're not an expert, but after attending a lecture, you can better understand why early Joseon art is meaningful, beautiful, and worth preserving.
As concert halls filled with classical music and museums housing cultural treasures become infused with in-depth knowledge, they are evolving into a cultural space with a new purpose, a venue for artistic learning and lectures. 이은진, Arirang News.
A long time ago, the capital of Sinla, at the heart of Daereungwon, where kings rest in majestic tombs, one mound quietly embraces the flow of time. As the morning mist drifts in, Cheonmachong reveals itself. Cheonmachong is a tomb that witnessed the glorious era of Sinla. For over 1,000 years, it has preserved the breath of its age, unchanged. Inside the mound lie layers of stones, earth, and a wooden chamber enclosing a wooden coffin. This stone-mounted wooden chamber tomb preserved countless artifacts intact. Ancient people once said, "A heavenly horse rides through the clouds." This is Cheonmado, a heavenly horse, painted on birch bark, nearly the only surviving painting from the Sinla era. The Cheonmado was part of horse trappings, attached to the side screen of a saddle. It protected both rider and horse, symbolizing speed and strength. In 2025, Gyeongju, the former capital of Sinla, will host the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting. While Cheonmachong carries the indomitable spirit of an ancient kingdom, today's Gyeongju envisions the future with the world. Gyeongju, a city where past, present, and future converge. Cheonmachong carries 1,000 years of history and stands ready to inspire the stories of tomorrow.
It's mid-October, and following the long Chuseok holiday, Koreans are back to their normal routines, be it at work, school, or home. It's also gotten busy in the K-pop scene, especially with a lot of girl group activities. We hear of song and album releases one after another, from veteran girl groups like TWICE to rookies like Hearts to Hearts. For more, we now connect to Grace Kao, K-pop columnist and professor at Yale University. Welcome back, Professor Kao.
Hello, Professor.
Hello, Soa and Bella. Very nice to see you all again.
Happy to see you again. Now, Professor Kao, every year around this time in autumn, especially in the month of October, we see a lot of song or album releases in the K-pop world. Is there a reason for this?
So I really think that actually groups have comebacks throughout the year because there are so many music shows that, have material. But I do think fall is special because the songs in the fall is sort of full of sentimentality, melancholy, perhaps, and, thinking about the past and so forth. So, it comes after the summer, which is full of bubbly songs and so forth. So I think it's a really nice time for moody songs.
Mm-hmm. And probably also because, the year-end award ceremonies also come up in December, and then you would have to have songs released around autumn so that those new songs can also make it at the awards,
Definitely.
right?
Mm-hmm. And
Absolutely.
we're especially seeing a lot of girl group musics. First, TWICE, who is celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year, actually released a special album last week on October 10th. What do you see of the significance of this album?
So I think it's fantastic that the lead single, Me Plus You, is really a love song from TWICE to its fans, to Once, of course. It's a really sweet video with, again, feelings of nostalgia. They're moving into an apartment, but also there's, these flashbacks to scenes that are familiar to TWICE fans. Their debut song, like Ooh Ah, is featured, where they're all in a school bus and so forth. But of course, there are no zombies this time around. And the album also has solo songs from each of the members. So I think that, is very meaningful. There's exactly, one full single plus the 9 members, so you have 10 songs for the 10th anniversary.
Right. I especially like that part of it because everyone has their own bias in a group, even though probably Twice fans are groups of the whole group itself. It's great to see those individual characters in these solo songs as well. Now, Professor Kao, moving from veteran girl groups to rookie groups now who haven't even celebrated their 1-year anniversary yet. For instance, Hearts to Hearts and Izuna, they either recently dropped a new album or are about to release a new album. So are there any differences when it comes to promotional methods or when it comes to the timing of release comparing the established groups and rookie groups?
I mean, I do think all K-pop groups work extraordinarily hard, but new groups, rookie groups in particular, are under a lot of pressure. Imagine if you're a new group and there's another new group that's similar to you and they're producing 3 songs a year. You don't want the fans to forget about you, and you certainly don't want to lose time to expose yourself to new potential fans. So there is this sort of one-upping thing that happens. I think it's pretty common now for a new group to have 2 or 3 comebacks, in a single year. I think also, though, the comebacks are shorter, so you are more likely to just have a single or have an EP, extended play, which has 3 to 5 songs. So instead of, it's not as if they're producing 3 full albums every year.
Right. And now I also want to touch upon kind of like the middle group that's between veteran and rookies, embarks. They actually dropped their first ever full-length album, but it's been actually 4 years since they made their debut. What do you think of this strategy of releasing first full-length album after years of a group debuting?
Yeah, so I think, again, it's, fans, maybe this is because of TikTok and other things, that people have shorter attention spans. So, people like me, we remember buying complete albums with 10 songs or 11 songs and listening through them. But now, you watch the music shows, you see the one single, and then you might listen to 1 or 2 other songs. But I don't think the appetite is the same for full-length albums. So it does make sense to me that companies might want to do a teaser song and have a couple of EPs or singles before releasing a full album song, full album full of songs. So that does seem to make some sense to me.
And I think also some of the members of embarks, they actually took part in the song makings. They wrote some of the lyrics of the songs. So maybe if they have a full-length album where they even participate together, they can show their fans really their own color after those years and finding their color after those years after their debut. So that could be maybe another reason. Yeah, and let's also talk about the comeback periods, in fact. So it's become the norm for K-pop groups to release a new song or new album, maybe in the span of 6 months, sometimes even 3 months, even shorter. So can we even call that a comeback? And why are the break terms becoming so shorter and shorter?
It's so interesting that you say that, because when I first got into K-pop, that's the first thing I think a Westerner, someone in the U.S. would notice, is that when we say comeback, we use it as for a group that has been gone for 5 or 10 years. So if HOT suddenly had a new EP, that would be a comeback. So I sort of had to get used to the lingo of a comeback simply meant that it wasn't their debut song. But of course, the periods have gotten shorter and shorter, even in the last 5 or 6 years. It's quite noticeable, and so I do feel for idols that have to keep producing new songs. So I think that's the trade-off, is having more frequent releases, but the releases are shorter. And you're absolutely right to say that it might make sense for fans to have time to develop a bias and be very attentive to their favorite member in a group.
Right. And another group that's actually releasing a new release is Le Sserafim. They will actually drop a new single titled Spaghetti later this month. The group has met so many international fans through their world tour. So how do you think these kind of overseas market and world tours have impact on comeback timing of groups?
Yeah, so I think, actually in the West, I think the summer is a really big time for tours and so forth. And so there is again, I just think the K-pop timing is different because of all the music shows that are on, and as you mentioned, the year-end shows. I want to come back, though, to this idea of nostalgia, because I feel like in all the groups we've talked about today, in Twice, ISNA, Hearts to Heart, and also LE SSERAFIM, that there are all, elements of nostalgia. You can see it in the lighting. For LE SSERAFIM's new promotional items that started in late September, you have very highly pixelated images with fonts from, the early Macintosh computers from the late 80s to the, they look like the computers I grew up with. So they're actually really fun for me to see as well.
And you're not the only one there. Now, Professor Kao, what impact can be expected in the K-pop industry from groups making their comebacks at around the same time? They're going to have more rivalry there, or does it actually help them if they come back together?
I mean, I used to think that companies were trying to avoid having their own groups come back at the same time, but I think there's so many groups now, it's actually hard to do. I was looking at, I won't say which company, but their schedule of comebacks for just this next month, and basically most of their groups are having comebacks and they overlap with each other. So it's sort of difficult to avoid when you have so many different groups that are coming. And so I guess that's just the side of K-pop being so full of new groups all the time. It's a lot of work for the idols, but it's also fun and exciting, but also a lot of work for the fans because there's always new things to look for. And it is a little bit hard to keep up sometimes.
Speaking of keeping up, I mean, probably many people are actually keeping up with this girl group coming back in the latter half of the year. If we do have a little more time to talk about Blackpink, Professor Kao. So that is a big group that many are waiting for. What are your expectations of this return or comeback?
So interesting that you asked me that, because I was looking at the timing of different groups given the discussion today. And then actually Blackpink, I was going to say that many groups might try to avoid the Christmas season for a comeback, but their new album, I think, is coming back in December. So I guess groups like Blackpink and BTS can do whatever they want because the fans are, very eagerly waiting for their materials. But, again, the members of Blackpink have all been super busy, and we've seen lots of individual releases and also successes. So I'm sure everyone's excited to see what the group will come up with.
Right. Well, today we had a focus on girl groups, but speaking of BTS, I wonder who's going to make it bigger on the charts, Blackpink versus BTS.
I know.
There's going to be a lot of attention on that.
Definitely.
But thank you very much, Professor Kao, for your insights today. Have a K-pop-filled autumn season, and talk to you next time.
Thank you, Professor.
You too. Thank you for having me again. Bye.
Bye-bye. And thank you, Bella. As always, we're going to have you back here tomorrow.
Yes, I'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Please join us again tomorrow on Friday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.